ready, you better be ready, because it's almost showtime. Come on. Let's do this.
Hey guys!
What's going on? Welcome to the One Up Weekly Live. Yeah. What is going on, guys? Happy Sunday. Ralph is his it's his arcade, actually. Ralph actually owns an arcade now. Now he pays rent for that arcade, but it's cheaper than all those quarters. So today we're going to be talking about Ralph's experience of buying these retro vintage arcades. I'll be interviewing him and talking. This is something that I'm really excited about because my next arcade, I think, is going to be a real one. And I think there's a lot of room in people's homes for just one more cab, and maybe that one would be real. I think we could do it. We can have Arcade 1-Up, a couple of those, maybe an At Games, maybe an III arcade, and maybe a real one too. So tell us, Ralph, how does that work?
Okay, so there's so many ways to get a full-size arcade, right? But the one that I've found most success with is, I'll go through them really quick. Like, one is you could do OfferUp, you could do Facebook Marketplace, right? And that's individual sellers selling them. And I've done a couple that way, and most of those have actually sold, and we'll go into that. But these were all auction. So these were all an auction house called Captain's Auctions out of Southern California. So they're actually doing one, and Justin, of course, I forgot to bring up the date, but I think it's actually not this coming weekend, but the following weekend, right?
Yeah, that's right. So it's a Saturday. I think it's like July 10th. Correct me if I'm wrong, if July 10th is a Saturday. So get some ones in the chat if you want us to cover that, because our plan is to actually do a show when there's a Captain's Auction, and Ralph and I are probably going to bid on some of these. I'm really excited to see if I can get myself like a Nintendo cab. I don't have my problem is the space to get into my basement has to be small. So a big full one like this Cruisin' USA is probably not possible for me. But man, the idea of picking up one of these cabinets for like what? Maybe $300 in an auction, and then you got to pay some shipping.
Yeah, so we'll get into that a little bit. It's actually better if you buy more, believe it or not, because the shipping cost doesn't change that much. Yeah.
So let me jump to it. So maybe if I can only I can only afford one, or have space for one, maybe I can buy a couple, and then resell the other. That's what I'm thinking about doing.
Yeah, but that's a whole other thing. I mean, that's if someone wants to get into that. But if you're only planning on picking up one, and you have to ship it and you're not in Southern California, that could be a tough proposition because, like, let's say you bought one and you get it for $300 and the shipping's $400. That's still a decent deal, right? But what'll end up happening is you buy three and the shipping's like $450. Now all of a sudden, you buy three $300 cabinets that could easily be $800 cabinets, and you're paying the four. So it's like you're almost you're you know what I'm saying? Like, you're getting more for your money that way.
So I'm going to talk to my local arcade guy. He buys and sells arcades as well. Maybe I can work out a deal where I get a couple, and then if I can get a good deal, then sell them to him, get my money back, and then I come out with one. Yeah. Maybe it'd work. But that would give me the ability that when we do that auction live, I can set aside just a little bit of money. I'm probably dipping into something I shouldn't be dipping into.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I only if I can get a deal, right? If I can get a deal, then that'd be cool.
Yeah, it'd be cool if you could bring up the Captain's Auctions website too while we're talking. But yeah, so the one thing about it is, if you're interested, you're gonna wanna typically you register early because you have to register as a bidder. You don't really want to do that on the day of the auction. You could. I've done it one time because so basically how it works is, let's say there's an auction like this upcoming one, and you register to bid. That bid registration is good for that auction. So the next time they do an auction, it doesn't mean that you're automatically registered for that one as a bidder. So I made that mistake, and literally the day I got this one, I was like, I couldn't press the bid button, and I'm like, oh man, because I there was so many good auctions. So the cool thing is even if you're not registered, you can go in. If you look, Justin, it should show like a catalog. It'll say like, click here to view the catalog. It's like right where the dude is standing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I think this is I got the dates wrong, and someone corrected that in Terry B. Thank you so much for correcting that. July 11th on a Saturday. Look, they even have a Centipede Arcade 1-Up cabinet on here and a pinball machine. So very interesting. I'm really curious about what the prices go at an auction for like an arcade 1-up cabinet. That's kind of cool too. So you said in the catalog, right?
Yeah, so you look in the catalog and you can go through all of them. Yeah, you can go through all the machines. There's pages and pages and pages. But so why this is cool is you can kind of have a game plan. You'll be like, all right, because they start from the beginning of the catalog and work their way back. So you can go, okay, this I have kind of learned this, Justin, in the beginning. A lot of times it's earlier on in the day, right? Because these things will go till way late. I mean, dude, how I picked this one up, Justin, it was like 1:30 in the morning when I won this. So what happens is as the auction goes on, people drop out. Because think about it. There are people on the East Coast bidding. Someone on the East Coast is not staying up at like 3 to 4 o'clock in the morning their time. I mean, maybe some will, but you just see this trail off and you're more likely to win something. Because how I go into it, my strategy is, look, I have a maximum amount I want to spend on this, and you got to stay with that, because the problem with anything, it gets really competitive and you'll be mad that you're outbid and you'll be like, no, I'm bidding up higher. And then all of a sudden you're like, you know what I'm saying?
I think we're going to have to close the stream. Like, I don't know what we're doing. This is the dumbest thing ever. Why are we sharing this with everybody? We're teaching everybody to be our competition. No, that's it. That's it. Goodbye.
No. We want everyone to pick something up. I mean, hey, if you win something over me, I have plenty of them. I don't need any more. But yeah. So it's really fun. So that'd be there's so many. I mean, guys, when you look at this catalog, it's pages and pages and pages. But the cool thing about it is you might go, hey, you know what? There's only 3 cabinets I'm interested in. You can kind of pop in and out of the auction throughout the day because it's live streamed on their site. And then if you just kind of dabble in it first. But I went straight in the first time. And as a matter of fact, the 2 cabinets I won, I actually already sold. I didn't keep those cabinets.
Oh, man. Remember this thing? Oh, I hate this thing. You know, it's like goes, and then you try to build the tower. See, I wouldn't mind getting one of these stackers and then like learning all about like the settings in it. Like it's a carnival, you know, like do you set it one way, you know, so it's like you'll never win, you know?
Well, you guys know that I have that claw machine, and the claw machine in the inside, it has like voltage settings for the claw, and so, but you can lower it to nothing, and the voltage, like the stronger the voltage is, like the tighter it'll grip, and you can make it so that basically you can never pick anything up. I mean, if you wanted to, and you know, sometimes they tune it for the kind of things that are in that machine, right? Like, oh, it's bags of candy, so those aren't, you know, those aren't that hard to pick up if you find a denser area. So they might like scale it back to make it more difficult. But, you know, I always wonder, now that I know how they work, I'm wondering like if they switch like from candy to maybe like a different claw that does some sort of gift items. Like if someone didn't know enough to tune the voltage settings, like it could be really, really difficult for someone to win. Yeah, you know what I mean? So, I mean, I'm sure the house always wins, but,
yeah,
you know, it's like gambling, right?
I thought it'd be kind of cool to get one of those, but then set the setting, you know, completely the other direction where it's like super easy to win. And then when friends come over, I mean, think about it. Like, imagine like if you did, like I have a basement, right? And so that's where I have my game room and stuff. And I don't have a lot of room, but some of these things, some of those little, I don't know, when you showed me, what is it called? The candy house or something like that you have at your house?
Candy crane? Yeah, candy crane.
Yeah, the crane. It's not super big and looks really awesome. And it would be cool eventually when we have friends come over, right? Like they could put the claw down and they would get candy, you know, and it would it'd be cool. Like that would be a really cool thing. So yeah, Ralph, why don't you tell us about this cabinet that you have here?
Yes, I was pretty excited about this one because there's common issues that happen with these. So a lot of times you'll pick up a cabinet like this and the force feedback in the steering wheel will be broken. And that's kind of an expensive thing to fix unless you can find someone selling it used. But yeah, everything worked on this. The only problem I had with this, and this is one of those things, a topic, you know, I thought you and I could talk about, is sometimes things aren't in fully operating order. Like the game plays, but there's like some little thing wrong with it. So this one, the gas pedal was having a bit of an issue, but it was actually a connection. You just need to be soldered back on. Like it was just loose.
So when these guys said, you know, they buy all these obviously and they do an auction and they resell them, is it something like, do they? I mean, couldn't they have just fixed that and then it could have gone for more? Like, how does that work?
No. So basically, oh no! Oh, I got so they could have actually, like, here's the thing: they get transported, stuff can happen. That's another thing too, right?
Oh, okay.
Like, oftentimes monitors will look really good, and then they get transported, and you'll see what happens is like the coloring will be a bit off, and all that is it needs to be degaussed usually, and so you buy this little degaussing coil. And, I didn't know that at first. I had to learn that. So once you learn that, you know what to do. You're like, oh, that's an easy fix. And that degaussing coil that cost you $15, you can use again if that ever happens again, or you move your machine and you need to be degaussed again. So
I think that's a really good point that we should talk about. Like when you're getting into this arcade gaming, first we're talking about, hey, there's a way to get cabinets in an auction, and I live in Des Moines, and I talked to the arcade owner in my area.
No! What did I just do? I just looked at the camera. I'm off in the middle of the desert.
That's what you get. That's what you get. So my guy in my area, he actually runs an auction, and they did one last Saturday. I haven't been to one yet, and I was a little afraid to go last Saturday, with the way the world is right now. But maybe one day I'll go to that auction. But this auction that we're talking about, this captain's auction, is online, so you can kind of bid online, and then there's shipping. But the point is, when you get these, it could be a project. So the question is, do you guys like those projects? Are you the type of person that doesn't mind? Like, think about fixing a car. Like, my dad was a mechanic, and he would buy and sell cars, right? I'm not really
like that was his whole strategy for it was a business for profit.
Yeah. I mean, he still does it.
He wasn't stealing the cars like you used to steal stuff, right?
No. I mean, the guy's 70 now, and he still does this, right? He fixes people's car, and this is what happens. Like, he's fixing someone's car, and he'll be like, the transmission's busted. It's going to cost you this much to fix, right? And he's very honest. He's a very honest mechanic, and that's why he's poor. But anyway, so someone will say like, it's not worth it. And he goes, well, I'll buy the car off you for, $1,000 or something. And then he'll fix the transmission himself, and there's no labor cost for him.
Right.
And then he'll resell it for whatever, $3,000 or something, because he fixed that part. And, but he loves to tinker with things. He loves to fix things. And so I kind of see like the arcade modding and console modding is very similar to that, but it's electronics, right? And there's going to be some people that...
Justin, I'm in first place right now, just FYI.
Whatever. You put that on easy. You know it.
Well, it is on easy, but still.
And so what do you think, Ralph? Like, I'm just freaked out because this guy says the console kit's crime family. That's not nice, man.
Oh, the lights went out too. All right, I have to...
Oh, look. Check this out. The lights. Oh, remember last time the lights went out? You said you got this fixed.
I'm trying to keep the whole arcade vibe. It's like an arcade in here because it's dark. You know what I'm saying?
All right.
I'll fix it as soon as I'm done with this. But
okay.
I need. Oh, come on, dude. Oh, third place. That's respectable. You know what I never understood about this game? Why do you drive into the people at the end? You drive into people.
Yeah, that's not nice, man. Driving into
you literally, cool. and they're all happy. Like the girls are like, "Oh my gosh, he finished!" And I'm like, "Well, you're about to be decapitated, so it's cool."
Okay, so this is clearly one of the favorite cabs that you picked up because, I mean, this is a sit down. You've been talking about for a while the idea of a sit down driving cab. You love.
This is actually destined for the house. I'm trying to clear out space for it. This is going in the house. It's not staying in here.
Dude, that's cool. That's really cool.
Yeah, it's cool.
So why don't you go through and tell us how many auctions have you won?
Well, so there is a machine. I don't know. Can you kind of see it in the background?
Yeah,
there's another racing cab behind this. So there's one around the corner. That one is I always forget the name of that one. That one is the Off-Road Challenge. It's a Midway game. It's actually surprisingly fun. So that one I got for really cheap too. It was like I won that. I didn't expect to win that one. So you can go in and place bids, and then like let's say people are bidding and they never get to your bid amount, you can just win it. Like you can auto win the bid if you're the highest bidder. So it's kind of like eBay, right? You can go into eBay and set like a reserve cost. I think that's what it's called, right? Like your reserve top end bid. And that one I won not knowing. And I was kind of like pissed at first because I'm like, oh crap. But then I was an idiot for even placing the bid in the first place. But so I have this one that you're looking at right now. There's that one right around the corner. Right. I had bought the House of the Dead one, and sadly the House of the Dead one I sold. And I bought a San Francisco Rush Rock that I sold.
Okay, so we're at 4 so far. Yeah. Then you got the Candy Crane, right?
Candy Crane, yep.
So that's
Candy
5.
Crane.
I want to say you did one more. Or is that it? Is that just 5?
Wait, what's that?
Did you only buy 5 so far in your
Yeah,
auction?
So far.
Okay, but there's one next week. No. Is it the week after next? Is that right?
Why do we keep getting that wrong? It's the I think it. Go back to the website, but I believe it's the 10th.
Oh my gosh, what is wrong with us?
But I think it goes 2 days. They usually go 2 days. It's usually like a Friday night and Saturday. So I think that might be wrong that it's just the 11th. I think it's the 10th and the 11th.
I did see it was Friday and Saturday. Let's see.
Who did the preparation for the show now?
Nobody.
Scroll up.
Here we go. So
no,
vending machines.
Friday.
Okay.
See, it starts on Friday, but that's vending machine prize and ticket redemption games, and the arcades are on the 11th. So that is often they'll do that. They'll have they try to categorize and keep pinball and arcades together, but sometimes there's random stuff. Like there was a box of Neo Geo carts. Like you can pick up some cool stuff if people aren't interested. Or let's say you own an arcade, it might be here's a bin full of replacement pedals for racing cabinets, and it's so if you're an arcade owner, that might be valuable for you because you might pick that up for $50, and there's a lot of even if some of them are broken, you can repair them from the others, and it's going to way save you money versus trying to find those parts, through independent party or something like that. So it's kind of cool.
Okay, so this might be obvious, private party, right? But let's break it down, if you will. What would be the difference between let's imagine a lot of people, the fans of the show, are watching and they have an arcade 1-up cabinet, right? And they've never owned a full size cabinet. What can they expect? Let's say they own a Street Fighter 2 cabinet, but they end up buying from Arcade 1-Up, but they end up buying a Street Fighter 2 full size. What can they expect the difference to be?
Well, those are super expensive. That's the thing. So even at auction, those will go for a lot. So even if it's a Street Fighter 2, the traditional Z-back cabinet, those are really expensive. They're hard to get for cheap. So for one, you're going to probably spend a lot of money if it was Street Fighter 2, even at auction. You'll pay less at auction sometimes, but that's not always true too, because I was watching someone that it was a Street Fighter 2 original cabinet, and someone had put a Pandora's box in it, and they were selling it, and it sold for way more than I thought it should have. It was $1,400.
Oh, wow.
I was like, oh my gosh. Yeah, so Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat sometimes will go for a lot more than you think, but I think sometimes because you're getting arcade owners looking for a deal so that they can put it in their arcade, whether it's a barcade or something. But then you have just people that have a lot of money that will just bid it up and they don't even know. There are a lot of people that will spend way over the price. And there's a website, Justin, I wish I had told you before the show, but there's a website called Exactly, I think it's what it's called. So if you look up Exactly arcade prices,
okay,
the guy, it's just a guy that put together a price guide, and his price guide's pretty good. So most of the time,
it's like price charting, but for arcades.
Well, it's not that sophisticated. It's just the guy has bought and sold thousands of machines, so he gives you what the price should be. But the cool thing is when you're at auction, I usually expect it to be on the lower half of his range, and that's how I kind of know I'm getting a decent deal. Try to get it below his starting range, because he calls it collector price. So collector price is I buy a machine, it's in fairly good condition, and I'm going to sell it on the open market on Facebook or OfferUp or something. So he's giving you the range of what you'd expect in private party to pay.
Hey, sorry, we got something we got to handle in here. Hey, Zohar, I'm sorry you're not feeling well. Hey, everyone be kind to people, please, in the chat. We don't tolerate people. Zohar's a really cool guy. He does a lot of great things for the community, and he's super passionate. Stop picking on him, please. It's not cool. Seriously, stop. Right?
Agreed.
Okay, let's continue.
Agreed. So I forget where I was at, but yeah. So that price website, if you could pick, if you can try to pull it up, that'd be cool. But if not,
I was trying to find it, but I put in arcade pricing. I put in Exactly arcade pricing into Google, but I'm not showing it.
I'm gonna try to pull it up while
okay, cool, man.
Yeah.
So here's the deal. I think it's really interesting that we're covering this topic because, arcade gaming is where it all came from, right? There's this big community of people that are loving arcade 1-ups, and what we in At Games and iArcade. But we want to say is there doesn't have to be a competition between all of them and real arcades, and that's what I'm kind of interested in. If you've been watching our show for a while, I really have been trying to get a hold of a PlayChoice 10. and there was one near my area, but it wasn't actually available when I reached out to the person. I talked to the arcade dealer in my area who owns a couple arcades, and he runs an auction, and he said he had a few of them, and he asked me to wait. He asked me to wait for a couple months because he said, honestly, if you want to get a better price, wait a few months, because he said a lot of things are tough right now because arcades are closing because of the pandemic and stuff. And honestly, the prices are probably going to go down. And so I'm kind of interested to see what the prices are. And he was pricing me on like a Nintendo cabinet, like a PlayChoice 10 for about $1,000, he said. And that's pretty expensive, but like that's my childhood dream to have that cabinet. So to save up that amount of money, like that's something I'm willing to sacrifice and do.
So I just sent you in the private chat, I sent you the link to that website. So we can check it out right now. And like even maybe if someone wants to throw in like games that they're interested in, like games that they would like to have as full size, like start throwing in titles that you're like, oh man, if I could own this, and we'll for fun just like look them up, right? See what would the expected cost be? Because sometimes they're a lot lower than you think, but sometimes they're a lot higher. Like games like Tron can go for a ridiculous amount of money. But I don't know if it's because Tron's an amazing game or if it's because I don't know, like it has this, I don't know, like it's like, well, it's not even fair to say we'll put it in the category of Star Wars. So if you click on that link to the right that says price guide.
Okay.
What we'll do is if someone starts, if people start like, go there and then just do like, Mike just threw in Blitz.
Okay, so where do I put that in?
So just do like a Control F and then just type in Blitz. Or since you're on a Mac, it'd be the weird thing.
Yeah, I got it.
So like, what does it say the starting cost is?
So it says NFL Blitz 99 2000 dedicated 25-inch cabinet, $650 is the low end.
Okay, so like that at auction, depending on you could potentially expect to pay a lot less than $650. It just depends. Okay. But I use this to know like what should my range be, because like I've always wanted a Neo Geo cabinet. So someone threw in Simpsons. I think that'd be a good one to check. Okay, because that one comes up a lot.
Let's see, Simpsons 2-player upright, $500 to $750. Now it says new.
But look at the one everyone wants. Oh no, it's just he just added that one. That's
okay. It's like a recent thing. Okay.
Yeah. So Simpsons 4-player dedicate. That's the one everyone wants, and of course that's the wicked expensive one. That cabinet's an absolute beast, by the way, too.
Okay, so someone else mentioned Tron. Let's see if we can find.
I know Tron is super expensive.
Yeah, that's in the more multi-thousand, right?
Yep. Yeah, that's Truxton, I think.
Okay, what else we got? We got Willow.
Yeah, check out Willow. He might not have everything. Okay, so $750 but keep in mind these prices are like what I should expect people selling them for on like my local marketplace, right? So you can sometimes get deals a lot lower than this. Like Neo Geos. Neo Geos around here, 2-slot Neo Geos for some reason in Phoenix, independent, you can get them for like $400 to $500 here.
I'm all over that, dude. Because see, the Neo Geo, that one seems pretty exciting because if you get one,
dude, there's a really fun one here, Satan's Hollow. Because I don't really prefer that game very much, but it'd be interesting to see what it costs. See, that one goes for quite a bit. Yeah.
Yeah. See, the Neo Geo one, I think that one's really interesting because if you guys don't know about it, like the Neo Geo parts, like the MVS itself, like a 1-slot, you can get those from China for like $30. Yeah, so we're talking about the primary core CPU, if you will, is right now it's an inexpensive part, right? So I know that the actual cartridges for the Neo Geo can go for a pretty penny, and so but also you could recreate a Neo Geo that's like a 2-slot or a 4-slot and just put in your favorite 2 or 4 games, and maybe it wouldn't end up being. See, that's what I'm thinking about doing. I mean,
Justin, you gotta look some of these up. So Sean Powers. Smash TV is an awesome one, so I want to see. I have no clue. I've never looked that up before, but I'm really curious what that costs.
Let's see. So about $1,000, it's saying 12 dedicated upright with 25-inch monitor, $1,000 to $1,250. This site's pretty sweet. I mean, it's not super sophisticated,
cool, right?
but
but it's cool.
So you're saying that you can. Okay, these are the tricks, right? We'll put links in the description for everything about this. We can go to this website. It's not perfect, but you can get an idea of a price range of what those typically go for, and then use that as a basis in your auction bidding. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, because the thing is, right, everyone wants a deal at auction. Like I don't go on the auction to pay what I could pay locally, right? I want to try to like pull up what I have right here. Just put cruising and the Exotica one should come up. I think it's there. So it should say cruising Exotica. You might have to scroll down a bit. So
I only see cruising 3 times. It's only these 3 times.
So they don't have Exotica, huh? But I mean, look, a cruising USA. I don't know what just happened. Cruising USA is actually older than Cruising Exotica. So you figure Cruising USA, they want 500 to 600.
Okay.
The sit down, that's an upright. So you figure sit down is going to be about 8 to 1200. This thing was 450. So I mean, you start looking at it, like that's a pretty good deal because now you're not even in the range. You're out of the range. You're below the range, which is like where you kind of want to be. So just the only reason I'm bringing this up is because like don't do it in like it's weird, man. You can get really competitive doing it. And I had a buddy that was actually texting me and he was telling me what was coming up and he's like, oh my gosh, this is coming up. And he was like getting me so excited and he's like, oh you got to place another bid. And like once you click that button, like there isn't really a retracting of the bid. The other thing you have to be really careful for, now they know that people sometimes do this and I have no idea why they do this, but let's say you're bidding on an item for some reason before they set the low price. That's another thing too. Like they'll set a price, right? Like they'll say here, the auction is open for the Cruising Exotica. And all of a sudden there's no price because they're trying to figure out what the first, they're trying to figure out what the first bid is, right? And so so if people are waiting, that's to your advantage. Like if they like aren't throwing in a bid yet, it usually sometimes can mean that there isn't a lot of interest in it. So maybe it's because they sold like a slew of them already. And so like everyone's just like whatever. And that's kind of what happened with this too. Like this one, it was like no one was bidding. I'm like, this is weird. So I threw in $100 and then someone else threw in 150 and then it was 200. And then it was weird because you see it going once, going twice. Usually like he'll be like, you know, it's stressful because you're like going twice almost. And then it's like you won. Like it'll show like your bidder number. It'll be like you won, but you got to be careful not to get sucked up in it because you can easily get excited about the competitive part of it and like kind of forget that, hey, I have to pay this after. So
so let's go back. We were talking about the Street Fighter 2, that one being inexpensive. So off the top of your head, being expensive, off the top of your head, which ones are really expensive? Like, what are they, big titles like Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat?
Look up anything Star Wars. They're super expensive. Look up
right?
Look up like Star Wars. That Star Wars trilogy cab is probably super expensive. Like those things are super expensive.
Yeah.
Someone asked about trilogy. Trilogy's not that bad though. Here locally you can get trilogies, but that's not the advanced one. There's one that's like not advanced, deluxe. The deluxe ones with the big projector screen and everything.
Yeah.
I don't think that's the deluxe price. That thing gets expensive. And honestly, that deluxe one, it's almost never in good shape because a lot of those, it was those backlit like DLP TVs and those things, and from remember when those were really popular, those had a lot of problems just in themselves. The bulbs would burn out and all sorts of stuff. But
so Remy 8169, fantastic question. Thank you so much. How does the shipping work if you're buying an auction, let's say from the Captain's auction? You have experience with that, Ralph. How did that work?
So they'll give you a couple of bids. So they work with, so if you go through Captain's, I can't speak to all auction houses, but I'm assuming they're all kind of very similar, they'll give you like a couple quotes back. And most of the time it's based on weight and size and things like that, like how much room it'll take up in the truck. But I've noticed that even though that's what they're telling me it's based on, it doesn't make sense because this last one, I was taking up way more size and weight and it was cheaper than the other 2 cabinets. So that's the way it's supposed to work, but I would say that was inaccurate based on my last experience. So, oh gosh, I didn't remember the elephant pooping on you. Do you remember that? That's weird. A big, huge piece of poop went flying to my screen.
Oh my gosh.
It's weird.
So far, there's 2 things about this game that were like, wait a second, because this arcade's supposed to be for everybody, right? But before the show started, we were testing everything out. There's girls moaning, and there's elephants pooping. It's
rated for everyone, and she's like, when she goes cruising, yeah, Exotica, and then she's all ooh, and I'm like, what is she doing? Like, it's weird. She starts moaning, and I'm like, that's not cool.
It says
hold on. First,
what? No way.
Yep, first.
Wow, nice job, man. That's pretty good. So
why is there guys doing this at the end? They're like, "You won, yeah!" Like, what is that? Like, why are they flexing?
I don't know. You're so tough. I guess I don't know what they're trying to say, but I was pretty excited here. The final fight is the upright conversion. They say it's like $350 to $500. Is that right?
Which game?
Final fight, upright conversion.
Yeah, final fight goes. I don't know what upright conversion means, but Final Fight doesn't seem to go for a lot. Rexer Show had a really good comment. He said there was that one time the guy won a broke golden tee for $50 because it basically online froze and nobody bid except for the one guy. That does happen. Like seriously, that does happen. Him and I were actually Rexer Show and I were on the phone or text. I can't remember as we were watching it, and I was debating on the golden tee. Yeah, the guy got it for $50. So, I mean, there are glitches sometimes too, and you get lucky. So.
There's two Ralphs. I'm like a Ralph sandwich right now. I don't think I can take it. Let's.
That's weird. Push one out of the way.
Let's see. Yeah. Some people are mentioning.
Oh, Afterburner, dude! Look up Afterburner. I wonder if they have the one with the contained cabinet. That's got to be. If that's on there, that has to be a ridiculous amount of money.
Afterburner.
Yeah, the cockpit. Dedicated. Look at the cockpit. 2,500 for the cockpit.
25, give or take, right?
I actually haven't seen one of those. I've just started getting into the auction things, but I haven't seen one of those yet. But I would imagine moving that has to be the biggest pain in the butt. Not to mention, I mean, you could put a grown man in there and it moves you around. So I would imagine just so many things that could break in that cabinet. You know?
I was trying to look up for Fire Island HD Teddy Boy Blues, but I can't find.
Not everything is in there. He's got a lot though for being something he's put together himself, you know.
So what other? I don't think you fully answered my question. Like, what other? So you got MK is expensive. Street Fighter 2 is expensive. Is it mainly like just the really big titles that are expensive? Like if they're popular, it's expensive.
Not always. Like I bet Spy Hunter's a decent amount of money. I'd look up Spy Hunter right now. I bet that is like sometimes the games with unique controls are expensive too.
I see.
Which I think is interesting.
Yeah.
So like Spy Hunter starts at $1,000. No one cared about Spy Hunter 2. So like the first one is the one that's expensive.
Root Beer Tapper. Oh man, look at that. $2,000 to 28.
So that's more. It says that's more rare than Bud Tapper because I remember there was Root Beer Tapper and then there was Bud Tapper. I don't know if they have Bud Tapper on there too.
No, it just has the mention for that. Yeah, man, you got me pumped, man. It's really
fun, but
cool,
you just have
man.
to be careful though, because you also have of course I can't remember it off the top of my head. There is a little bit of a tax too, so you pay so you not only do you have to ship it, but you do pay a little bit of that tax. So you have to think. I factor that into my overall. I think it might change slightly per auction, but there's a tiny bit of tax on there. Like it's like a auction tax. So you've got the regular cost, the auction tax, and the shipping. Now, if you're in Southern California, you could drive to it. I was considering driving. Rexer Show drove to pick up his cabinet. So I mean, you could, if you're in a surrounding area,
Vegas, right? I think he's Vegas, right?
Yeah, Rexer Show drove from Vegas to pick his up. They'll hold it for you for a good amount of time. It's like over 30 days or something. So they will hold it for you for a considerable amount of time. But the other thing too is once your auction's done, it's pretty much within 24 hours that they're sending you that invoice. Like that invoice comes quick. So make sure that you know what you're getting yourself into because you're like, bam, there's the invoice.
Here we go. Terminator 2, Judgment Day, dedicated upright gun game, 800 to 1250. Thank you so much for the mention there, Retrostasis. Let's see, or RevX. Let's take a look at that one.
Did you share his comment though? Did you put it up there?
Oh yeah, sorry. There you go.
Oh, I just put it up and you put it.
And we're fighting over it. Yeah, I don't see that one.
So, Revolution X. So
there we go.
That should be up there. So those cabs, for some reason, so those cabs, Revolution X and Terminator 2, they don't go for as much as you'd think. The problem I've seen with those is because I want one of those bad. It's just honestly, right now, it's a money thing and it's a cost. It's a money and space thing. I can't afford to have one, right. But I just don't have the room. And but Terminator 2. I don't see them in awesome condition a lot of times. That's my only issue with those is that like every now and then you'll see one pop up and they seem to go for way more than what that website's saying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. That's tough. Moonwalker. Oh, I don't wonder if he has Moonwalker on there. I've yet to see a Moonwalker at auction. Oh no, wait, I think we did see a Moonwalker at auction.
Is that right?
Actually, if the Rexer show is still in there, I think there was a Moonwalker. I can't remember on the last one. He was watching a lot of that one with me.
Yeah, so then we got Mario Bros. Let's check that out from Brad. Let's see. So they got the 1-2-3 conversion, about $500. Let's see, Dr. Mario.
Does anybody know what they mean when it says conversion, by the way? If that's like, did they convert another cabinet, like another Nintendo cabinet? Is that what that means? I don't know what that means.
That's my guess.
So it might mean that it wasn't an original Mario Brothers, like it was a Nintendo cabinet that they converted. If anybody knows, throw it in there. I don't know what that means.
Yeah, so Zombie Revenge from Al. Let's see, 350 to 500. So I'm wondering if
Zombie Revenge is an awesome game. I'm actually surprised that whoever threw that in there must be like a big Naomi Dreamcast fan, because that does not. Oh, he even mentions is cheap for Naomi. Yeah, that's awesome. That's cool. But the cool thing about that cabinet is if you buy that cabinet, you now have a Naomi. So like now you can put in other Naomi games, right? So that's something to think about too. Like Rexer Show won an Atomic Wave game. Well, an Atomic Wave cabinet is cartridge based, so he technically can explore some of the other cartridges for that system. Same with Neo Geo. Like, maybe the 4 slots are more expensive than the 2. Collecting those can be expensive. You could maybe do some carts that you want and then consider putting a multi-cart in one of those slots or something like that. So yeah, there's definitely options.
There's Gorf. Let's see. Yeah, so Brew Crew says conversion means not an original cab. That makes sense. Definitely makes sense.
So, but could it also mean so if he knows, does it also mean maybe that like it is the original? Does it? I guess here's the thing: like it's a conversion, but is it a conversion that could potentially not be the original cabinet style? Because that would suck. Because like that, you see a lot of those at auction where someone shoved and like if Zohar, I'm so bummed that Zohar left, but if you see if Zohar saw someone take like a midway MK1 and put like, I don't know, something stupid in it, like Golden Tee. People do weird stuff. Like you'll see that at auction sometimes. You're like, what the hell? Like or they'll put a Pandora's box in something that was like an awesome original cabinet, and you're just thinking, why? Like, why would you do that? But I don't know. To me, when you buy these, you have to be into the game. I don't think, at least for me, I'm not buying these with the intent that I would make this a multi-racer game. I like this game. I would want to keep it that game. But that Rush Rock cabinet would have been perfect as a multi-racer because it was honestly, I bought it and it ended up being. It did say it was ghost riding. So they do, Justin, I don't know if I mentioned this, but they'll say in the notes, like, and he will say when he's doing the auction, like, hey, this machine works, but there's a problem with the monitor. So like,
I see.
They will disclose if they know what's wrong with it. But there was one, if Rexer shows in here, I wonder if he'll remember this. There was a machine that wasn't working, and he was just like, oh yeah, this machine's not working. And he's like, oh, it fired up, it's fully working. And all of a sudden the bits were like, dude. I'm like, dude, he just kicked it or something. Like, that's what I don't want to, I want to stay away from. Because he's like, hey man, we'll get this machine working. So yeah, so be careful for that.
So I can't find Qbert in there. That one didn't want to show up.
Yeah, so C Rexer was saying there's a lot of arcades and MK cabs, but not MK PCBs in them. Yeah, that's unfortunate. That does happen a lot. I'm gonna play one more game, Justin, if you're okay with that.
Yeah, let's do this, man.
All right. I only have. Let's see. Which? Ooh, I don't know if I want to do hard. I'm not. I'll do Cruisin' Exotica. It doesn't say. Oh, Hong Kong is. For some reason, by the way, someone must have set this PCB. That it can't be, you can't use the manual shifter. There's like, and my guess is that probably it's because the manual shifter doesn't work anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You can actually lock out and say the game's only automatic. You can do so many things. Like that's another thing that's fun to discover is when you buy these, you start going, oh my gosh, the arcade owners had so many options that they can select to make the game either harder or like just a whole bunch of stuff. There's making it harder. There's making like the AI better, it's just, there's a lot of fun things that you'll find out. You can control the volume. You can sometimes lock out certain capabilities of the game. Like, on MK, you can shut off blood and stuff like that. Like, it's cool. There's lots of fun stuff you find out once you start diving deeper into the board and how it works.
Yeah. See, that's yet another thing that makes it super exciting, right, Ralph? It's like this idea that it's really a hobby, right? And when I mean hobby, it's like it's something you can really sink your teeth into, something that you can invest time into, right? There's your lights went out, but that's okay. It kind of has a cool effect, right? And so not only do you pick up one of these arcade cabinets and enjoy playing the games, but in my head, like if there's some, it depends on what cabinet it is. Like I think I have a basic understanding of how the Neo Geo MVS works. I have a pretty good understanding about how Nintendo technology works. Like if there was specific chips that need to be replaced, I could desolder them. I have those skills to be able to replace
now
those.
you're getting super nerdy. Not everyone's that can desolder stuff. Let's remember that.
Okay, yeah, but on the same time, you know, there's other things that I would probably reach out to you and maybe those that we could form a community with, where we're like, hey, you know, I have this, you know, like if I got
what types of things, like, hey, I'm thinking about getting a sandwich, and I'm just wondering if I should get the tuna or the turkey, or what kind of things?
No, like, hey, I bought this cab, and you know, the foot pedal, like you were talking about, it's broken. What did it take for you to fix it? You know, I'm sure there's communities out there you can repair it, and then once you fix it, you have that joy of accomplishing. Like, hey, that was loud, dude.
I wasn't. I'm sorry. I was in like second place.
So that was Angry Ralph, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm sorry if I screamed in everyone's face. I didn't mean to.
Okay, so let's try to break this down, Ralph. Check it out. Look at me. Look at the audience here. You know, you can turn your head towards us. You know.
Which one? This what? This camera?
No, you don't know which camera to look at? Yeah. Okay.
Well, you have multiple. You set me up with multiple cameras in here.
Is it this one? Is it that one? I'm sorry. Which one am I supposed to look at? So anyway, break it down for us. Tell us about the excitement and joy that you've had when you picked up these cabinets, except for the whole lying to your wife and stuff like that. And you know, tell how do you get past that, right? Like, is it something you tell Kim? Is it something you're like, hey, you got this budget you work with?
Is my mic on, by the way? Because it says
we
my
can
mic
hear you.
is muted. Oh, okay.
Amateur.
Wait, why are you asking me exactly? What?
I want to really understand, because this is an honest question from me, because this is something I'm not yet into. I understand it. I've been talking to you about it for a while.
Well, you gotta set the ground. You know, you have to set this up, because a lot of these, not all of them take up a ton of space. Like there's one that you guys can't see in the back. It's a Street Fighter, but it's a Street Fighter 1 that is converted to a Street Fighter 2. And honestly, the cabinet's not that bad. Like I can move it on a dolly, I can get it around. It's not incredibly wide. It's actually decent. But if you're gonna do something like this, like you gotta set the expectation, and it's pretty big. The cool thing is so that sometimes if you know you're gonna bid on certain things too, go pull up the operator's manual. A lot of times it has the dimensions and stuff. So that Arcade Museum website will actually have, not always, but it'll sometimes have a link to the manual, and you go check it out and be like, oh wow, there's no way it'll fit. So you can kind of measure out your space like beforehand, just so you know that, hey, I'm not getting into something crazy. Also the weight, like this is, if you had to move this up a flight of stairs, like in your house,
right?
You can do it, but I mean, just know that's not going to be a fun experience, right? To move it. So
that's
ground,
right.
luckily all my machines are ground level.
Can you tell us a little about the chassis?
Will they allow you to hold the chassis before purchasing? I don't think you'd want to do that unless you discharge that CRT, which we have an episode about that. So you can go back and see what it took to discharge a CRT. But that was one thing. Like that was real, guys. I hadn't done that before. I was scared out of my mind. I had Justin, who I thought was a friend, like really be completely not even remotely supportive, that we had to bring someone else onto the show. And if it wasn't for Bob, Retro RGB, there's no way I would have done it. Justin was not making me feel comfortable.
Yeah. But who hooked you up with Bob?
Well, you did, but the thing was, I was really kind of hoping that you would have been a little more supportive in that moment.
See, this is why I'm good at what I do at my job. Like sometimes there's things that are overwhelming, and I'm like, you know what? That's something Bart's really good at. Let's go talk to Bart, because he's gonna nail it. You know, I'm not the right person for this exact job that we're trying to fix, and that was one of those cases. That was all like, I don't have experience decharging a CRT. What I have experience with is trying to repair a television in 1999 and opening it up like an idiot and working on it, and then all of a sudden it goes...
And you got electrocuted, didn't you?
And I didn't get electrocuted, but I flipped out, and I went and I know I didn't Google search. I probably, what did I do? At Jeeves at that time? And I tell my wife,
you dialed up to Prodigy, and you asked a question.
That's right. And it told me you could have died. And my wife's like, never open the back of a television again. And I haven't. That was my experience with CRTs,
So based on the prior history of what we know of Justin, you know that Justin was the guy that in his mailbox, when he got those, you get 5 hours or whatever free of AOL online. he had like 175 different usernames. He was like Justin 1,
no.
Justin 2,
no.
Justin 55.
No. It was no. It was like, remember what was it? BMG? You remember the
Oh no, that's even worse. See, you always make it worse. You probably had the biggest CD collection ever and you paid like $1 for it.
No, I mean, I do remember, what was it, early 90s. I can tell you exactly what albums I picked up, and you're going to be all like, yeah, so I picked up Metallica and Megadeth because I'm amazing. And I'm like, I picked up Sarah McLachlan and Tori Amos because I was into shoegazing music or whatever, and I was like, those are CDs I can't get access to, but this BMG, or what was the other one? I don't remember what the other one was. Does anyone remember?
There was BMG and shoot, I can't remember the other one.
Yeah, I don't know, but CD clubs. Yeah,
someone has to know. What the other one is.
I always followed through. I got 10 CDs for $1, and then they wanted me to buy them for reals, and I did. Eventually.
Yeah, when I did mine, they were like, you could pick out 13 CDs, and I got 13 Creed CDs, all the same album, just every single one. That's what I got. Yeah.
Hell,
I was like, should have been dead on a Sunday morning. Hand in my hand.
Columbia House. That's
Columbia House. Yes. I knew Paul would know. Paul was in on the
and Matt and DB. Stringer Films.
Oh wait, hold on. You're being accused of something. Hold on. Don't miss this one. Someone said, oh, where did it go? Someone was saying that you sign up your neighbors.
I popped it up there. I didn't do that, but I know some people that did.
That's awesome. So yeah, I remember. Wasn't it kind of weird? Like, I don't know, just even the thought of I mean, I know we have different age ranges that watch the show, but I remember being like, I don't know, like when I first started driving, I now had this massive CD collection, but I didn't have a CD player in my car, so I bought the tape adapter. Right. And I remember I didn't have a lot of money for the CD player, so the CD player was pretty crappy. We upgraded over time. Paul could tell you all about that because he's a childhood friend. We used to do stereo upgrades and all that stuff on the cheap if we could. And I had this CD player. You know how they started adding like the buffering feature in so that like it wouldn't skip?
Oh yeah.
Well, my car had blown-out shocks.
That was actually an embedded forward error correction that was built into the CD. So they use this algorithm called Reed-Solomon that actually has additional data in it. So if there's a scratch in a certain block of memory, then past that, it could fix that. It's kind of like playing Sudoku. All right, so Ralph is out. Thank you guys so much for...
All right, I'm back.
What's really nerdy is some people are going to go look that up and find out it's accurate.
Anyway. Oh wait, Stringer Films signed his dogs up. That's pretty innovative.
See, it's not me. It's not me that's a criminal. It's Stringer Films.
They're like, why does Sparky Films order all these albums all the time? And then who's Fido Films? Like, that's right. How many companies is this? Yeah.
Oh man, so those were the days, and I've thought about that. My wife and I talked about that recently, like those CD clubs, right? Like what was up with that? Did they make money? Like, I mean,
I don't know how they must have somehow. But hey, can I tell you something, Justin? That's cool.
What's that?
People probably don't know. It's about to die, but this whole thing is running off of this arcade is running off this battery pack right now.
Wow.
It's almost dead, so it's probably gonna die really soon. Oh man, I'm picking the Jeep. But yeah, so let's see.
You're gonna play one more, right? Let's see.
Yeah, this is the last one.
All right, let's get some ones in the chat. Let's get Ralph excited. Let's pump him up. I'm gonna read out every single person that throws a 1 in the chat for your motivation, Ralph, and that's gonna inspire you. You're at 4th place. We're gonna see if you can get to 1st place. Let's show them what arcade gaming and owning a real arcade is all about.
What?
I don't know.
Now he put so much pressure on me.
He's in third now. He's in third.
Right,
Let's do this, guys. Come on, let's get some ones.
I don't have the seat connected to the actual cabinet, so sometimes if you get too... Oh, no!
Oh, come on.
Well, this guy would move out of my dang way.
Come on. Okay, we got some ones. We got Joseph. Joseph Ing. He's telling you, dude, let's do this. Dreamcast Kyle. Christopher calls. We got Wade 3 something. And I'm sorry, I'm losing this. It's just a big jump. We got Earl. We got Ryan. We got John. We got Gitten. We got Retro Stasis. We got Sean Powers. We got Arcade Eric. We got Mitchie B. We got Bob Cruz. They're all excited for you. Arcade's even said 2, and he's in second place really now. Quick.
Does Arcade Eric know 8-Bit Eric? I don't know. I'm just curious. Eric. I'm just kidding. I don't know.
So we got Glass Babies. He's super excited. UGCTV1. He's super excited. Remy 8169. Thank you so much for your support. We got Paul Prox. He's like, dude, you can do it. Arcade Eric is all like, howdy, guys. No! Oh, come on. You're in second place. You got Don Lawson, and he's like, dude, you're freaking awesome. And we got Brad FC150. He's got like 1 million ones in there. And then we got Earl. He's telling you to use the turbo. We got Tech Zombie saying, giving you 1. Mike Bloom giving you a 2.
Oh, gosh. Okay, I'm in first.
Michael Evans giving you a 1.
Oh,
Don Lawson.
No!
Throwback Tyler giving you a 1. DB giving you 4. We got Stringer Films with a 1. No. Michael Evans with a 1. Michael Evans with another 1.
Oh, shit!
He did it! He did it, guys! That's it. He got number 1. Thank you so much for all your support. It was because of you. You got Ralph all super excited. Look at him.
Dude, I almost flipped over the chair. Did you see it at the end? The chair isn't connected, so it almost flipped back. I would have been really...
man.
Oh, my gosh. That was awesome. Thanks, guys. That was great.
That was super exciting. Okay, so hopefully the lights will go out, because if the lights go out, it would be perfect, because then we could do final thoughts in the dark. But I don't think we got... I don't think we're going to get the light to go out, but Ralph... Get your mind adjusted for a moment. Think about all it takes to buy an arcade, right? We've been in this journey for about a year now. A year now together, in fact. A year now together
and almost 2 solo. It's pretty cool.
That's really cool. Yeah, so we've been having a lot of fun. So it's kind of like our year anniversary. I know my face hasn't been shown until later. But Retro Ralph and I in June started collaborating, and we started producing content together, and then we were like, let's do this podcast. Now, to be clear, the first thing we wanted to collaborate on was a podcast in June of 2019. Took 6 months to convince them, and here we are. Thank you, Ralph, for letting me join you in this journey. We're at episode 24. It's been a lot of fun, guys. Okay, so we taught people about how to pick up arcades through auctions. And we're going to learn more, and we're going to teach more. But, Ralph.
Yeah, final thoughts time?
It's final thoughts time.
All right, guys. Hey, guys. It's final thoughts time. So what did we learn in today's episode? We learned that it is actually a somewhat, maybe a good way to pick up these arcade machines would be through auction. So that's really cool. But we don't want to be silly about it. Don't get so competitive that we actually fall off the train tracks and we buy something for way more money than we can afford. And then, of course... Why'd you stop the music?
Because I think your disable audio processing is turned off, so it sounds really bad. All right, guys, it's final thoughts time. Because Ralph's audio is really bad, I'm going to have to do final thoughts for him. And then while he's looking for how to disable that stupid audio processing that allows 2 audio tracks to be played on top of each other, I'm going to play guitar and try to come up with a good line, because I don't want to, I love you guys, and I don't want to, have a bad experience on the show. So in a couple weeks we're going to be doing some live auctions with Captain Auctions, and I'm probably going to buy an arcade, and that's when my wife leaves me. Whereas Ralph, he's going to be picking up probably a couple things, and Kim will not marry him. So we're going to be 2 single dudes doing a YouTube channel. But hey, that's okay. We have a pretty successful podcast, and I think in the end that's all we really need.
All right, well, good. You just did final thoughts, so since you did final thoughts, we're doubling down, and you need to do. I am demanding closing time back. We want it back. The people want it. I want closing time.
All right, guys. Closing time. Open up the doors and let you out into the world. Closing time. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. So gather up your jackets, move into the exits. I hope you have found a friend. Closing time. Every new beginning comes from some other beginnings. And I don't know where to go now. Closing time. Every new beginning comes from some other beginnings. And yeah.
All right.
All right, guys.
That's it.
We'll see you guys on the next one.
Next one.
All right,
take care, guys. Thank you for all the support.
Thank you so much. Oh, I got to hit end, don't I?
Yep. Yeah, you do.
See you guys.